Preface. Software engineering has this in common with having children. The labor before the birth is painful and difficult, but the labor after the birth is where you actually spend most of your effort. Yet, software engineering as a discipline spends much more time talking about the first period as opposed to the second, despite estimates that 40 to 90% of the total costs of a system are incurred after birth. The popular industry model that conceives of deployed operational software as being stabilized in production and therefore needing much less attention from software engineers is wrong. Through this lens, then, we see that if software engineering tends to focus on designing and building software systems, there must be another discipline that focuses on the whole lifecycle of software objects, from inception through deployment and operation, refinement, and eventual peaceful decommissioning. This discipline uses, and needs to use, a wide range of skills, but has separate concerns from other kinds of engineers. Today, our answer is the discipline Google calls Site Reliability Engineering. So, what exactly is Site Reliability Engineering, SRE? We admit that it's not a particularly clear name for what we do. Pretty much every site reliability engineer at Google gets asked what exactly that is and what they actually do on a regular basis. Unpacking the term a little, first and foremost, SREs are engineers. We apply the principles of computer science and engineering to the design and development of computing systems, generally large distributed ones. Sometimes our task is writing the software for those systems alongside our product development counterparts. Sometimes our task is building all the additional pieces those systems need, like backups or loading balance, ideally so they can be reused across systems. And sometimes our task is figuring out how to apply existing solutions to new problems. Next, we focus on system reliability. Ben Traynor-Sloss, Google's VP for 24/7 operations, originator of the term SRE, claims that reliability is the most fundamental feature of any product. A system isn't very useful if nobody can use it. Because reliability is so critical, SREs are focused on finding ways to improve the design and operation of systems to make them more scalable, more reliable, and more efficient. However, we expend effort in this direction only up to a point. When systems are reliable enough, we instead invest our efforts in adding features or building new products. Finally, SREs are focused on operating services built atop our distributed computing systems, whether those services are planet-scale storage or email for hundreds of millions of users, or where Google began, web search. The site in our name originally referred to SRE's role in keeping the Google.com website running, though we now run many more services, many of which aren't themselves websites. From internal infrastructure such as Bigtable to products for external developers such as Google Cloud Platform. Although we have represented SRE as a broad discipline, it is no surprise that it arose in the fast-moving world of web services, and perhaps in origin owes something to the peculiarities of our infrastructure. It is equally no surprise that of all the post-deployment characteristics of software that we could choose to devote special attention to, reliability is the one we regard as primary. The domain of web services, both because the process of improving and changing server-side software is comparatively contained, and because managing change itself is so tightly coupled with failures of all kinds, is a natural platform from which our approach might emerge. Despite arising at Google and in the web community more generally, we think that this discipline has lessons applicable to other communities and other organizations. This book is an attempt to explain how we do things, both so that other organizations might make use of what we've learned and so that we can better define the role and what the term means. To that end, we have organized the book so that general principles and more specific practices are separated where possible, and where it's appropriate to discuss a particular topic with Google-specific information, we trust that the listener will indulge us in this and will not be afraid to draw useful